What is up, good people of these property streets? Bumilelo Mango here, bringing you some property game on how to buy a property. Today, on our video, we're going to talk about the 10 things that you need to look out for on that offer to purchase, the OTP, the agreement of sale, the purchase agreement. That document that is going to officiate is going to sit between you and the seller, or the buyer and the purchaser, the buyer and the seller of the property. So this is a very important document. You will never buy a property without such a document, because this is the document that an attorney, a conveyancing attorney, is going to take to the deeds office to transfer the property from the person that you are buying it from to you. All right then. So today I'm going to bring you 10. I normally say 5 things. I say you just need to, the buyer, the buyer, the seller, the property, the amount that you're going to pay for the property, and how you're going to pay for the property. It differs, okay, all the time. It's a case by case situation. Today I'm going to bring you 10 because you know why? You deserve it, right? So property price. Property price is the amount that you have agreed upon, you have negotiated, you have done everything that either you've negotiated or you are just putting in an offer and saying, let me try my luck. Because we do that, you have to do that sometimes, all right? We'll teach you more about all of these things as time comes. Okay, so you're going to put in an offer, and the offer is going to be a certain price. So this price is going to be the price that you are willing to pay, inclusive of deposit. So the overall price, inclusive of VAT. Just be careful of that at times, especially when you are buying a property that's within a CC or a PTY Ltd. Maybe it's within a different legal structure than a person. Okay, just be careful of, does the price include VAT? All right. So number 2, it's going to be the property description. The property description is actually not just the property itself, so it includes the erf, so where the land where the property is sitting. It's going to include the fixtures that are coming with the house, the address, anything else that doesn't fall off when the property is turned upside down. That's what I like to say. So you can include other things there, maybe things that you've negotiated into the deal. Sometimes those things are accepted, and some of them are not accepted by the bank. So you have to check with your estate agent as well as the bond originator if you are buying using a traditional financing. All right then. So property price and description. So we will need an expiry date on the contract. Okay, the closing date, expiry date. So what does this mean now? So this, when you're buying a property, you need to make sure that there's a date of expiry. The dates are very important. So the date is in, first of all, when the offer must be accepted by. Secondly, the date that you sign, that the person signs the contract back to you. And also there's many dates, okay, that you need to pay attention to on the offer to purchase. Some of these dates are occupation date. So when are you supposed to take occupation of the property? What happens if you take occupation before that? So all of those things, a property practitioner should be able to articulate those things to you and to exactly how those things are going to work. So number 4, I'm going to say is a deposit amount. So the deposit amount is normally an amount that you put down to say, okay, you know what, maybe the bank has asked you, hey, listen, buddy, you're going to have to put up some money here because your credit is not looking so good. So we think maybe your 10% would sweeten the deal, and then we'll be able to fund you the rest of the purchase price. All right, so things like this. So I'm going to talk about number 5 is going to be financing options. How are you going to pay for this property? Are you actually getting 100% financing? Are you going to borrow from friends and family? Is it going to be cash? Are you, is it an inheritance that you're waiting for? Are you selling another property to actually buy this property? So things like that. So things like it's going to be so things like that, they need to be on the offer to purchase, stipulated and clear. All right. Number 6, I would say contingencies. So these are like subject to. So subject or conditions, terms and conditions. So most of investors, let me tell you, they like to put conditions, because conditions are good for you for sweetening the deal, first of all, and also to protect yourself to get out of the deal if things don't go according to plan. So financial contingencies, sometimes we put them there. Other contingencies would be subject to inspection. You want to inspect the property, you want to evaluate the property, send an evaluator. The evaluator must give you a price that that actually works for you, that says yes, this property is actually worth this particular price. Right. Okay, it's going to be the seller's disclosure. So seller's disclosures is going to be these are the things that are no longer working in the property. Maybe the stove is not working. Okay, maybe the geyser was last fixed 20 years ago. So all of those things, seller's disclosures are very important, because especially when you're buying a property like Footstood, you must pay attention to the seller's disclosure. So even if you're saying I'm buying as is, there may still be some disclosures that the seller needs to bring forth according to the offer to purchase and what it actually says. Right today, we're going to have to check these are, so the closing cost. Closing cost is going to be number 9. Closing cost, we're looking at who's going to pay for the transfer. Normally it's the buyer, but not all the time. It doesn't have to be. Depending on your negotiation, you say, okay, you know what, for this property for this transfer, I've been a very good negotiator, and I think, Mr. Seller, you should pay for my for the transfer of this property. Most of the time, it's the buyer that pays for the transfer, and it's not always a given. It has to be stipulated in this offer to purchase. Number 10, and this is normally like at the end, maybe at the last page of the offer to purchase, it's normally additional terms and conditions. Like I said, maybe I'm buying as an investor and I need a second opinion, or I need a subject to investors' approval, subject to inspection, valuations, those type of things. As you buy more and more properties, you learn to understand these things. But what I want to tell you, after all of this, you have to read your offer to purchase. You have to make sure, even if you take an hour or a day just going through this offer to purchase with your property practitioner or someone that's taking you through it, or maybe a second opinion, your own attorney. But obviously, if you get an attorney, he's going to want a piece of the pie. He's going to want you to pay for the attorneys, for the attorney fees. So in other words, if you are saying, Mr. Attorney, I need you to look at my offer to purchase, he's going to say, all right then, no problem, but I want a certain percentage of the purchase price, as my fee. Whereas, so now you might even find yourself paying for 2 transfer costs, the seller's transfer costs as well as your advice fees from another attorney. So just pay attention to that. So these are the 10 best tips that I think are good for you. Purchase price, property description, closing dates, or all the dates, contingencies or financing contingencies, how are you going to pay for the property, the deposit, the seller's disclosures, and closing costs, who's going to pay for those, and then additional terms and conditions. And I think I may have left out one important thing: repairs and credits. Who's going to pay for all of that? Right. Thank you for watching. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up, subscribe, let me know what you think in the comments.